And let's just take a moment to let the legs just very softly just come up into the body. So you can have the legs wide, you can bring them together. Your hands can be on the shins or the back of the thighs. And we're just going to rock a little bit from right to left, just to feel the lower back release into the floor. Our focus today is going to be nourishing through the spine and the nervous system. So as we just rock for a moment, and then we're going to allow arms and legs just to extend up into the air and just give the body a little bit of a shake. So the level of shake is up to you. That feels good. Come on in, Tracy. If you can lock the door, that would be great. I've got a mat set up for you that you can just slide right into. You're more than welcome to put your mat on top. Good to see you. And then we're going to do a few ankle and wrist circles. So you can leave arms and legs extended, or you can bend the knees and drop the elbows to the floor. And we're just going to start to circle wrists and ankles. Just allow breath to flow in and out of body. We might feel a deep breath in and an exhale out. A deep breath in nose and an exhale out. And then just ending once you've circled the wrists and the ankles in both directions, just ending with placing the feet on the floor. And then we can check in as well as the feet come down to the floor if you're wanting any support with the bolster. So you all have a bolster. If you do want to keep the knees bent, you can allow the bolster to turn up on its side, which I'm demonstrating right now. And that'll support the back of the thighs and the knees and the calves. And you can let the feet heel toe away. Or the bolster can be flat, which is supporting the back of the knees and the upper thighs. And then see, do hands want to rest on body or do they want to be out to the side? Let's just take a few sighs as we land here as a group. So in through the nose, exhale out through the mouth. Breathing in through the nose and exhale out through the mouth. Sometimes even bringing in a purslet breath, which is the inhale through the nose and then softly pursing the lips and blowing out through the mouth, which extends the exhalation. Whenever we extend the exhale a little bit longer than the inhalation, we tap into our relaxation response. This place that brings about a little bit more equanimity and body, mind, nervous system through the breath. So just let that breath in the nose, pursing the lips, letting that exhalation extend as you breathe out through the lips. Notice as we lock the door, we've created a secure space for our class. And we've all arrived here together. That you let the weight of your body just descend into the floor. So you might start if the legs are extended with the heels, right heel and left heel. If the knees are bent, you're going to feel soles of the feet. Feel your legs become heavy. Let the breath move in the nose and out the nose and leaving some space so that the breath can release out the mouth at times, either with a sigh or pursed breath. Notice the right hip becoming heavy and the left hip. We deepen our relationship to the body and the earth as we feel right rib cage release and left rib cage. And the rib cage release will flow us up into the shoulder blades. So we'll start to feel right shoulder blade heavy, left shoulder blade. With the arms maybe out to the side, a little bit away from body, palms up, or the hands on the body. Start to release the right shoulder, the right upper arm, elbow, lower arm, wrist, and hand. And then the left shoulder, the upper arm, the elbow, the lower arm, the wrist, and the hand. Feel your throat and the back of the neck. Notice the back of the skull descending into the floor, or if you've offered it a little bit of support, into the support. And then feel your breath moving through you as you inhale, expanding, feeling a widening through the body as you receive the nourishment of the inhale. And as you exhale, feel the belly deflate and the ribs gently gather in as the body softens on the exhale. Feel your whole body resting here on the mat. Take another half a minute or so here just to feel our whole body imprinting on the floor. Just allowing yourself to be held here in this quality of nourishment. This practice is for you. So if at any time during the practice you want to come out of a pose or a shape that we explore and rest or stay longer in something because it's really resonating with you, then you honor your body and mind. So that at the end of the practice, we leave feeling revitalized and nourished, receiving whatever it is that you need for your body and mind today. We're going to slowly start to awaken the body very gently. So if you have the bolster flipped on its side with the knees bent, you're just going to lengthen your legs and just flatten the bolster. So we just have the bolster under our knees and our upper thighs. And we're going to go into our a little bit of tension and release. So whatever feels good for you in the arms, are they out below the height of the shoulders on the floor? Maybe they're a little bit higher out on the floor. And we're going to allow a reaching down through our legs as we just feel a little contraction through the lower body and then reaching up through our arms, a little contraction through upper body. Take a deep breath in as you bring in this contraction. Then as you exhale out the mouth, just let the whole body go. Ah, and maybe even a little sigh into the floor. I'm going to do that a couple more times. So just create a little bit of tension, a little bit of activating of the body. And then as you exhale, when you're ready out the mouth, you just soften and allow yourself to release into the floor. And do that one or two more times at your rhythm. And exhale. As you do it, maybe one last time, just notice at the top of the inhale, there's a little pause before you exhale and fully let go. And then just rest here, let the breath find its rhythm again, noticing the flow in and out of the nose, and at times always leaving that space at the mouth. And then we're going to start to bend our knees. The foot can go on the bolster. You can start to move the bolster out to the side. Good. And then you're going to take the semi-inflated slow-mo ball that I call. So for most of you, it's going to be purple. Sometimes this ball is blue, but it doesn't have a lot of air in it. And so you're going to put this one right underneath the back of the pelvis because we're going to start with our fluidity today of nourishing the spine. So not in your lower back, but behind the back of the hips. Yes, there you go. Now just take a moment as you exhale here. Ah, just arrived. Did I forget to give you one of those, Tracy? Sorry about that. And then you're just going to start to just sway a little bit from right to left. Do you feel that we're bringing in the elements of water here, some fluidity, some nourishment? So when we have a little bit of holding that happens in the body or around the spine, which we're nourishing today, it inhibits the flow of the nervous system to find this equanimity within ourselves. So we're going to be nourishing the body and the spine. Now, I want you to just let that flow come in. Maybe you start to circle around in one direction. You might even feel some pelvic tilting coming in. So, as you feel at the very base of your pelvis and your tailbone and your sit bones reaching towards the back of the heels and then up towards the ceiling, you'll feel your lower back start to release towards the floor. And then as you reach your tailbone, sit bone down towards the floor, the lower back will arch away from the floor. So you can pair the breath with this as you reach tailbone, sit bone towards your heels and then up. That can be your exhale as you feel your lower back release. And then as your sit bone, tailbone reach down and your lower back arches, you can bring in the inhalation. If at any time the breath chooses to switch and move in a different way, then you honor your body. And so feel the ripple of this movement starting at the pelvis, but then rippling up through the lower back, up through the rib cage, in between the shoulder blades, and it even flows up, depending on your body today, through the neck and the head. So the movement initiates at pelvis. You might feel feet rooting into the floor a little bit on the exhalation when the lower back releases into the mat. And then a softening of the feet as you inhale and the lower back and the rest of the spine move through that arching, bringing this little ripple effect in. And let any movement that inspirationally comes in. So sometimes when I do the pelvic tilts, I like to bring a little bit of rolling around at the same time. But you listen to your body. Should be here for just one more minute. And feeling a few more rounds of breath, letting the body move into a little bit more movement here as we complete this. And then we're just going to take the semi-inflated slow-mo ball and just move it into the lower back. So you're just going to move it up a little bit. So you're going to increase that lower back curve a little bit more. And so you can shift it down a little bit or up a little bit to really find some comfort. We're going to do a little bit of axle rotation. So we're going to bring our arms up and you're going to bend at the elbow. So the right hand holds around the left elbow and the left hand holds around the right elbow. And then just exhale, sink into the floor. And we're going to have our feet hip width apart, a little bit wider if you feel you need to. We're going to do a little axle rotation. So as you exhale, the legs are going to go to the right very gently. They don't have to go very far as the arms go to the left. Your head can follow arms or legs or stay in center. And then you're going to inhale into center. And then as you exhale, allow the legs to move to the left and the arms to the right. And if having the slow-mo ball there is feeling uncomfortable in any way, just come to center, pull it out, and you can do the same movement without the slow-mo ball there. So my body was just wanting me to pull it out, so I'm just going to pull it out and do the axle rotation without the slow-mo ball. So you feel free to honor yourself as well. So we're just getting into the mobility of the spine, movement with breath, and just go another one or two more times to each side. Beautiful. Once you pause into center, if you still have the slimmer ball there, you can just push down through your feet as you unlace your arms, pull it out. Good. And now we're going to roll onto our bellies. So I'm just going to come in and just check in if you need to turn around at all, if you do want to be faced a little bit more into the center of the studio just for a visual. And then allow that to come in. And Elaine, how does it feel to be on abdomen today? Is it okay? Okay. Okay. Yeah. Just let me know if it doesn't. So we're just gonna take a moment to find the arms at the top of the mat and just stack our palms on top of one another and just let your forehead rest on the top hand. And then we're just gonna release the back. So we're gonna tuck the toes under. Good. And then as you press through the toes, you're going to feel your knees and the top of the thighs come off the floor. And you're going to reach your heels back to the wall behind you. And then I just want you to bring a little bit of length through the top of your head as you reach it forward. And then you're just going to hold that as you breathe in and out, just creating some length. One to two more breaths here. Just really opening the whole back chain of muscles and fascia of the body. And then slowly start to release that pressing of the toes into the floor. And then let the whole leg release, let the top of the feet come on the floor. Good. And then you're going to lift your head up very gently, and we're just going to bring our arms down beside our hips and our legs. So you can have the back of the hands on the floor, palms up. Yeah. And you can bring either the chin or the forehead to the floor. So you choose which one feels good for you. Now we're going to very gently just start to feel the top of the thighs and the belly very softly pressing into the floor, and let there be a little lift and lengthening through the torso and the head as you softly rise up and then lower back down. And then just check in if that's feeling okay. We're going to do it one more time. We're going to press the top of the thighs, the feet, lifting and lengthening up through torso. Gaze still stays down through the skull as you come down again. And then if it felt good, you can do one more time, just rooting down through pelvis. Let the torso lift and lengthen as it floats up. There, and then we're going to bring the arms back up. Forehead goes back onto the top hand, and then you're just going to lift your shins and your feet up off the floor and just let the legs wiper a little bit. You'll feel your pelvis sway a little bit from side to side. Just moving through the abdomen here. This is one of our longest cranial nerves, the vagus nerve. It ends in the abdomen. So it's really beautiful to just nourish the digestive system here, where we're just giving the belly a very soft massage, releasing the pelvis. Good. And then slowing that down. Here, we're going to open up the back and the upper chest as the legs come down onto the floor. Extend the arms. Some of you know this flow. We go into seal here. So arms are extended in front of you, and you can have them shoulder width apart, which is roughly the width of your mat. And you can just let the elbows bend a tiny bit. And you're going to start to press the pelvis, the top of the thighs into the floor, and then you're going to strongly push the hands into the floor. And as you do that, the torso will come up, the forearms will lift off the floor, the arms will straighten, the elbows will lift, the upper arm will lift. And then you'll soften the shoulders and just letting the upper back open up for a moment. Very soft release. And then we'll slowly start releasing that pressure of the hands. Let the elbows bend, let them come out to the side. And then we'll slide the hands a little bit closer to the torso, to the top of the head. And the elbows will be out to the side a little bit more when you come a little bit closer. So be mindful of your back. If that felt good and you don't want to come too much farther, just come like maybe even half an inch closer. And then you're going to start to press down through pelvis, top of the thigh, press the hands into the floor. The arms will come off. And then you'll come back up into seal. It will be a little bit higher, but then we're going to drop our elbows down onto the floor. Just feel, okay, does that feel okay? Yeah, beautiful. We're just in Sphinx for a moment. So gaze can be down still if you feel that the neck wants to lengthen. Sometimes with the lifting of the heart, the widening of the shoulder blades, the gaze looks a little bit forward in front of our mat. We're just going to gather those front rib cage in together towards one another and pull the rib cage down towards the hips. So sometimes we use that SH breath. So as you inhale, you do an SH breath out the mouth. Shh. That'll gather the rib cage in and down. We're going to do that one more time. Inhale through nose. Exhale, it pulls the rib cage in and down. We might feel the back of our rib cage where our kidneys and our adrenal glands open. See if you want to have one more breath there. And then you're going to push into the hands again, lift the elbows up, let them wing out to the side as you slowly lower down, support the head again, lift the shins and the feet up off the floor, and let the legs wiper. So, whenever we bring in back bends, we're releasing the upper part of the spine, but we're lifting heart. We're also bringing in a vitality and empowerment through the body and the mind. It's really nice just to notice the different levels of energy that we can bring in through this soft awakening. Good. Then you're going to lower the legs down, bring the hands under the shoulders, and you're going to press down into the hands. So the elbows are going to be out to the side, and then you're just going to curl them in so the elbows draw towards the side of the body. And as you press down, you're going to lift up a little bit into a low cobra, and then just see if you can come up onto the hands and knees. And then you're going to round the back, widen the knees. We're going to go into a child's pose just for a moment. So it can be part of a child's pose. You don't have to go all the way down, but want you to feel your hips sinking back. So you go into a lengthening and just let that open the back body for you. We're going to take the arms and walk them over to one side to do a little lateral stretch here. So you choose to the right or the left. Beautiful. Breathe into the side of the body that you're feeling the stretch into. You stay there for a few breaths. Sometimes when I go into this, my body really enjoys this release. You might linger. When you feel like you want to transition, your arms come through center and you go over to the other side. No rush. As the arms reach forward, see if you can feel your pelvis reach back. This gives a beautiful release through the body. We're going to come up Now, as we come back into center, up onto hands and knees or elbows and knees. So you choose. If having hands underneath the shoulders is feeling a little uncomfortable through the wrist, then you come down onto your elbows. Good. Stacking knees under the hips. And we're just going to go into some spinal waves here. So we're going to exhale, let the sit bones release down. Let the lower back round up as we push the floor away through the hands or the elbows. The shoulders will round up through the shoulder blades as they widen. Our head drops. Then you start from the pelvis, so the sit bones, tailbones lift up, lower back gently arches, shoulder blades squeeze together, soft lift of the head. You're just going to flow back and forth. Let the movement ripple from pelvis all the way up through the lower spine, the middle spine, the upper spine, and the head. Do you feel this really beautiful wave of energy moving up through the body? As we go back and forth a few more times, I'm going to bring in some movement through the torso of circling. So, two options here. You can bend the elbows and you can circle through the spine. So, thinking of the spine like a jumping rope and it's circling around as the elbows bend inside the torso. So, really bringing some beautiful movement inside the thoracic spine. Or you can widen your knees a little bit more. The hands may even come forward as you inhale the whole torso and pelvis forward, and then exhale, sink the pelvis back in between the inner thighs. Go as many times as you want in one direction and then the other. And sometimes both want to come in. Good. As you find that movement around. You take your time either to pause in child's pose, or if you feel like you want to go a little bit more dynamic, the hands can come a tiny bit forward in front of the shoulders. Tuck the toes under. Inhale, exhale, and push the floor away as you rise up into downward dog for a moment, just building the whole body in this movement, walking the legs out as you bend one knee, lengthen through one leg, breathing here. And then we're going to find our way coming up to standing. So you can start to walk your feet towards your hands, bend the knees, hands might come back towards the feet. Uh, you can maybe just see, do we want to pause in a forward fold for a moment? Notice how when we hang in an inversion, how we nourish the nervous system a little bit more. And then when you're ready, you're just going to start to bend the knees, let the hips sit back, and the hands can either come onto the thighs for a little bit more support today, depending on where you are. We're just using the engagement of the leg muscles to help bring the blood back up to the heart. Some of you who feel like you want to energize the legs a little bit more, arms can come up and just feel Utkatasana. If that doesn't feel good, remember you always have the support with the hands on the legs. And just feel a little bounce here, up and down through the legs. And then push the floor away as you come up to standing, maybe arms reach up. And then exhale, hands to heart. And then we'll bring a few swinging twists into it. So just take your time together. So as we find the body coming and slowing down through the twist. Wow. We're going to locate whatever we're using for our foot rolling. And so I've chosen a ball today, but you might also have a dowel. Yeah, good. And then choosing whichever foot you want to start the rolling. So if you're feeling a little bit sensitivity in one hip, one shoulder, then you can lift that foot off the floor, keeping connected to the other side. You might even feel a little bit of knee gliding that comes in just to find some proprioception, really be aware of your leg moving in space. So whenever we feel proprioception and more aware of our body, it helps to minimize any deep sensations of pain or discomfort in the body. Okay, and then you can just roll the ball, the dowel on the sole of the foot. Good to see you. Hopefully your kitty is okay. Is your kitty okay? Oh, I had a feeling that things weren't going good. I was feeling a little bit sad for you. Aw, that is really hard. I could feel a little bit in you as I saw you today. So yeah, just holding space for that. Hmm. So as you press into the feet, you can roll from toes to heel. You can also go across if you have the ball from toes, yeah, to pinky toe. Those of you on the dowel can press. You can do a little spin and twist. Yeah. And just exploring that first foot as long as you want. And then just take a moment to stand on both feet to just feel, how is that connected through that whole side? And then when you're ready, you're going to press into that side and allow the other foot leg to lift. And then just do a little bit of knee gliding. Feel and notice the leg moving in space. We can feel leg moving. As we acknowledge it, it does help us to drop into our body whenever we feel deeper resonance of arriving into our body. And the receptors in the body, which are called the nociceptors, they respond to pain and deep sensation in the body. They soften. So we feel less discomfort in the body. Really wonderful thing. Remember, you can roll in the inner arch as well. And just taking your time to finish off this first foot, or sorry, the second foot. And you'll feel whenever it's complete, you'll let the ball move off to the side. Good. We're going to do a couple things next as we just put our ball. My ball's like, we're not going off to the side yet. We're going to find a wall, and we're going to create some stability in the lower body and also releasing one of our hip flexor muscles, our psoas. So, two options: the 4-inch block, which I prefer to stand on. This one's a little bit more challenging because it is doesn't have a hard surface, so you might even want to try this one if it feels more challenging. I like the higher one, so you can move either towards the pillar, you can move towards the desk, you could find a wall. Yeah. And we're going to stand, so we're going to stay together on the same foot. So you're going to be close to the wall, about a foot to a foot and a half away from the wall. And you're going to stand on your left foot if you can. So we're going to be swinging the right leg. So as you press into the block, you're going to use your left arm just to support if you need to, feeling a nice vertical alignment. And you're going to just check in that your hips are level. So, what we're going to do is for the standing leg, that right leg, we're going to lift and lower that hip a couple times. So, as we press into the right foot, you're going to lift the whole leg and hip. So, you're going to feel your hip rise up towards your shoulder, a little shortening on the right side. And then we're going to lengthen it down. So, you're going to feel an inhale, let the hip come up. And then you're going to exhale and you're going to let it lengthen down. So we're going to do that a couple more times. We're going to inhale, lengthen it, and bring it up. And then exhale, lengthen it down. One last time, inhale, lift it up. And then exhale, lengthen it down. And then very slowly, with keeping the hips level, you're just going to start to swing this leg that's dangling in the air. So most of us, if you're following me, it's your right leg. Just releasing through the leg and the psoas for a moment. Good. Yeah. And then we're going to slowly just start to slow that down. And we're going to step off. We're going to do a few hip circles. So we're going to do kind of two rotations in this, but we're going to just feel some hip circles or figure eights in between. Good. Just let that unfold. Good. And then you're going to take a moment to stand on the other leg. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So taking that time to press down into the floor. Sorry, into the block, coming up, using the wall if you need to just stop you from leaning too much into the wall. And just let that leg release, that left leg, and then you're going to lift the hip up. So the hip comes up towards the shoulder. You're going to feel a little bit of tightening on that left side, and then you're going to let it drop and you're going to let it release. So you can do that a couple times, lifting the hip up and then letting it release, and then lifting it up and letting it release. And if it feels okay, do it one more time. You might inhale as you lift, exhale as you lower. And once you're in that lowered, you're going to then start to swing that left leg. Good. And you just let the leg come to a place of swinging that feels nourishing for you. So our hip flexor, our psoas muscle, when it sometimes is really tight and it's not nourished and it's not releasing, it can bring in a little bit more of a sympathetic activation into the body. And we don't equalize and move through our nervous system with a flow. So we move into states, but we're always coming back to equilibrium. Good. And then you're going to slowly lower that down, step off, and you're going to do a little bit of movement here just to circle the hips again. So figure eight or circles. I only did one direction that last time, so I'm just going to go the other way. You choose what feels good for you. Good. And then we're going to do one last one, which is just for the glutes. So we're just going to go up one more time. So just standing on left foot, pressing the floor away. Okay, so we already worked the side of the hip by lifting the hip up and down. So that was if we think of a clock, 3 o'clock. So we're going to allow the right leg now to move back to a 4 and 5 o'clock. So it's a little bit back, but it's also out. So you're trying not to lift that right hip at all. So it's a back and out. We're just feeling that glute medius come in. This is our side core, just allowing a little bit of engagement to come in. This is going to help us as we move through the world. So you might do one or two, and also in our standing poses that we're going to go into now. And then when you're ready, you come off, shake the legs out, and then we're going to go right into other side, pushing the floor away, feeling that alignment, and then you're going to go back and out. So on this side, it's like a 7 or 8 o'clock movement of the leg back and out. Know that the leg doesn't need to lift too high to feel that glute medius, which acts as an internal and external rotator. So the more strength we feel in lower body, the more empowered we feel to move through the world. And you're just gonna pause. Right, you can come off. Yeah. And then just move. Just gonna move a few things off to the side. We are gonna go back towards our mat and we are gonna use our block again. We're gonna use the biggest one that we were just using, depending on which one you were using here. And it's gonna be in between the feet. So it's about a foot to a foot and a half in front. And we're going to widen the feet here. Good. Now we're going to allow the toes to angle out. We're going to come into goddess. So we're going to allow as we bring our knees out over the second and the third toe, and just allow the pelvis to drop down so the torso nice and tall. So notice if we're kind of slouching forward a little bit. See if you can let your sit bones root down, your heart lift up, your gaze look straight ahead. Yeah, you got it. And then you're going to bring your arms up so that the elbows are in line with the shoulder, a little bit lower in a cactus arm. Good. Palms face forward. Yes. Okay, and then you're going to press the floor away as you inhale. Let the front of the pelvis open up. Let the arms straighten. Maybe gaze goes up. We call this five-pointed star. And then you're going to exhale, bend the knees. Let the elbows bend. Come back into the earth, into goddess. And then you're going to go back and forth. So as you push the feet into the floor, legs straighten, arms straighten, front of the body leans forward a little bit. Some of you will look up as you inhale and then exhale back into goddess. So you just find your flow back and forth. Yes. Couple more rounds here. Releasing. We do one more up and back down. Good. Then you're going to release your arms, bring your legs straight. So you let your heels angle out a little bit more. Now we're going to go into a flat back. We're going to inhale, arms out to the side. Exhale, the pelvis releases back. We're just going to come back into a flat back. So halfway. Now pause here. Feel the rib cage gather in so that SH breath as you inhale, exhale through the mouth. Shh. We're just activating the transverse. We're going to do that one more time as we reach the fingers to the sides of the room. SH breath. Good. And then start to lower your right hand to the block. And then just bring your left hand down so it's just facing the palm of the hands, just facing the block. We're going to go into revolving triangle for the spine. So as we inhale, exhale, the right hip will lower. We're going to start to turn to the left through pelvis, lower belly, heart. Maybe the arm reaches up. Maybe it feels better to have the back of the hand on the lower back. And then you're going to bring that left arm down as you inhale. Notice you can switch the height of the block if you want to go onto the middle height. As you exhale to the left hip lowers first, then the belly, torso, shoulders. You let your gaze go to what feels nourishing for you, and you're just going from side to side. As the body opens, you might find, oh, I want to go down to the lower block height, or you might not even need the block. So nice and slow, find your rhythm, releasing tension around the spine today to help the nervous system flow freely in the blood, releasing any stagnation. And you'll feel whenever that feels complete, you can just pause. So, hands, you can put forearms on the block. Your hands may want to shift to touch the shins or the ankles or the feet. Sometimes, depending on how the body opens up, the head might find the block. So, that might be top of the head. And if you're feeling a little bit sensitive, remember you can bend the knees, put your forearms on the thigh. Good. And take a moment here. Feel some deep breaths come in and out. When you're feeling ready to come up, you're going to use the block if your hands went onto the floor in any way or the legs. We're just going to heel toe the feet together. So you're coming into a hip width apart. Come back into chair pose just for a moment. So forearms can be on the thighs, arms can be up. Then we're going to push the floor away, come up to standing. Release the arms, shake it out a little bit. Good. And then we're going to move our block off to the side. We're going to do one more flow standing before we come down to the floor. I want to release the neck today as well. So you're going to find a short end of your mat. So your right foot is going to stay at the top of the mat. The left foot is going to lift, and you're going to step it back anywhere from 3, sometimes 3.5 feet back. But you want to make sure you're in a wide stance. So make sure you widen the feet a little bit. Yeah. Now you're going to bend the front knee. The back knee can bend a little bit, but you're going to lift through pubic bone, lower belly, upper belly, torso, heart. Good. Just let the arms come out to the side, palms forward, open heart. Just going to breathe here. Feel the empowerment of this warrior pose. Notice how it's lengthening and opening the front of the body. So we've been focusing on back body, front body, side body. And then doing squeezing and release. Good. And I'm just going to turn towards you now. So we're going to bring the hands back up. So they're right around heart here. We're going to take an inhale and let the leg just lengthen to a straight, just a little bit. And then as you exhale, you're going to bend your knee. You're going to let your hands push away all the way out to the side. And as you inhale, you're going to straighten the leg. The arms are going to come back. And each time you exhale and you push away, the knee is going to bend. And you're going to inhale back. Beautiful. We're going to do that at our own rhythm. Just noticing here as you do this, that you're creating this beautiful, protective, kind of energetic bubble around you. That some days when we feel a little bit more sensitive, we can push away what we don't need, and then we can create a little beautiful barrier for ourselves. And we're just going to do that one more time. And then pause. Okay, you're going to step your back foot forward, shake it out. Good. We're going to do the other side. So that means left foot's going to stay forward, right foot is going to step back. Hips are going to be parallel. Left knee bends. Right? Palms externally rotate. So the palms are facing forward, lifting through lower belly, upper belly, heart. chest, soft gaze, breathing here. Two more breaths. Now we're going to go back in as we slowly straighten the legs, palms touching at heart. Inhale one more time. Exhale, push away what's no longer needed as you bend the front knee. Push all the way out to the side. Feel those boundaries that you're creating. And then as your arms fold through, the leg straightens, and then you exhale and you push away. So we all have an energetic field that flows within us and around us, usually around 3 to 4 feet, sometimes bigger, sometimes pulled in a little bit. And so we can mindfully, at times, just even with intention, what we're doing today, just create this little energetic awareness of this place that we can have for ourselves. Do two more. Last time, releasing what's no longer needed and coming back. Good. As you pause, stepping your foot forward, shaking it out. Good. We're now going to transition down to the floor. So we're just going to be at the top of our mat, hands at heart center. As we inhale, exhale, just arrive. Feel your feet. We can do a couple more breaths as we inhale. Exhale, just arrive. One more time. Exhale, arrive. And on your next exhale, you're going to release your arms down beside your legs. Press your feet into the floor to feel that rooting as your arms float up. Maybe gaze follows. Exhale into a forward fold. Okay, so as you find your forward fold, feel the weight on the toes and the heels. And then decide, do you want to step back, big step with right foot and left foot back into downward dog? Some of you just want to do a little step back and then drop down to one knee and then allow the other knee to come down. So you choose, walk it out. So option here, as you're in downward dog, this second time, if you want to bring in a little more awareness and body, you can push the floor away, press left foot into the floor. See if right foot just comes up off the floor and the knee bends. Some of you can even reach back through that leg or turn the right toes out and bend the knee and open up as you look underneath your right arm. Just a little bit more strengthening. And then you rotate back, right foot comes on the floor. You push away through hands and right foot. Left foot comes up. Maybe you stop there. Some of you can lengthen your leg. Turn the toes out to the left. Bend the knee. Heel comes towards the buttocks, and you might look under your left arm. And then you rotate back. Walk it out. See how you feel. If any of you just want to come down into child's pose, you can. If you do want to step the foot back and just find plank for a moment, your choice here. Sometimes just feeling plank either with the knees off the floor or down feels really nourishing. You can even go back and forth a few times. You can flow back into downward dog and plank. Just feeling a little strengthening here. And whenever you're ready, you're going to come down. Pause. Just feel child's pose for a moment. Open and close the hands. And we are going to roll over onto one hip and just sit off to the side for a moment. And we are going to locate our TheraBand for a moment. So each of us grabbed a TheraBand today. So you can sit cross-legged, you can sit with the legs straight, whatever feels good. Good, and we all mostly have, yeah, and you have your red one, right? Yeah. So I just want you to open the band. So it's nice and wide. So all of us have the blue, which is really quite nice because you can open it up, and yours is a little bit firmer as well. That red one And then I'm just going to turn around so you can see. So you want to find not so much loading the upper neck, but you want to find that you're loading the base of the skull. So this is really good for the cervical spine. And you're going to put that open band around the base of the skull. And then you're going to hold about a hand's distance away, just very softly as the elbows come in. There we are. Yeah, so we're just meeting first. Yeah. And Elaine, just no pressing yet, but see if you can even open your band a little bit more. See how mine's like nice and open. So just create like a little sling. Yeah, there it is. And then it kind of creates like a nice sling that looks really good, Maggie. Yeah, so you can feel that sling, right? That we're happening. And now what you're gonna do very gently, okay, so it's equal pressure, is we're gonna lean the head gently back into the band and pull the band into the skull. So you're gonna feel ever so gently that your chin will kind of pull a little bit gently back towards your neck, and you're going to lengthen out the top of the head. So you're not kind of rolling forward so much, but you're keeping a nice long spine through the top. And we're just holding that for a breath or two. And then you're going to soften the leaning so it happens simultaneously. And then you're going to take a few breaths, do a little nod of yes to the head. Good. Then you're going to inhale and exhale, and you're going to do it together. So you're gently tugging on the band as the head leans into the band, and the chin draws back towards the throat a little bit. So you're not dropping the head at all. Yeah, good. Do you feel? Yeah, see if your gaze can even look up straight ahead. As you pull and lean, and then you just let it go. So we're strengthening the upper neck, so specifically the neck flexors, the upper back muscles, and then you check in. Do I want to do that another time? Hey, it is strengthening the arms at the same time. So some of us go, "Ooh, that's enough." But if you do want to try one more time, doing an isometric connection here. Yeah, the band pulls forward as the head leans back. You just breathe smoothly here. And then whenever you're ready, you gently start to let it release. We're going to let the band go. And we're going to just think of either the top of the skull or the nose. So whatever you do, if you want to do a couple more rounds, feel free. We're just going to mobilize the cervical spine now. So let's start with the nose. And you're just going to draw little circles in the air with the nose, imagining that your nose has a pen. You do as many times as you want in that direction, and then you're going to switch and go the other direction. Okay, and then you're going to do a little movement of nodding and a yes motion once you finish the other direction. No rush here. Okay, and then very softly, we're not going to go into a full twist, but we're going to very gently just allow the head to turn to the right, a little gentle of looking the eyes to the right. The eyes connect to a nerve called the trigeminal nerve, which communicates with your nervous system and your heart. It slows everything down. And we bring our eyes back, the head, and then you're going to gently turn to the left with your head. And then once you get to that place, gently let your eyes look very softly to the left. Breathe deeply. Good. Come back to center. Okay, we're gonna now roll over onto, so we're lengthened on our mat, and some of you are already there. And we're gonna roll down onto the mat. So we're gonna bring chin towards the chest, arms come down. We're gonna come down onto the floor. Let the knees, if they want, draw into the chest. Give the body a hug. Hands on the shins or the back of the thigh. Notice as we come down to the floor, this feeling of dropping into the earth again. You might shake out the legs again. You decide what is needed for you. And we're just going to do a little release for the body. So we're going to do a little hip release. And some of you might even take the semi-inflated slow-mo ball. And so that's the one that doesn't have a lot of air in it. And you want to take it and you want to pull it. So you create little lips on one side, yeah, and then a bubble on the other. And then you might pop that behind the back of the neck, so supporting the whole cervical spine. It might also support the base of the skull. So the upper, kind of middle and upper part of your skull might not be on the floor. And then you just take a moment to feel if the head wants to do a little bit of no motion, side to side, or a little bit of yes. And always notice if putting the slow-mo ball there doesn't feel nourishing for you, you can always take it out. You might draw little circles on the ceiling with your nose again, just to mobilize the cervical spine. So, whenever our neck muscles get really tight, it does inhibit the movement of energy and flow from the skull into the body. So, some of you might feel quite nourished with keeping the slow-mo ball there. So, you can, if you want to pull it out, you can at any time. We're just going to end with a hip release. So, we're going to take the feet on the floor. Okay, knees are bent. We're going to notice if you want to do a little myofascial release, you're going to grab hold of your ball. Okay, so I made sure that each of you had a ball today. And you're going to bring the right leg up. You're going to externally rotate it, and you're going to bring your right ankle on your left thigh. Okay, and you might just pause here and do a little movement of the leg from side to side. Yeah, balls are sliding all around. I know it's funny how they can travel. Sometimes I look and mine's like completely not where I thought. Hey, if you feel that you do want to go into and leaning the right ankle and the left thigh into each other and lifting the left foot up off the floor and even holding the back of the left thigh, you can. Some of you know that you can put your left foot on a block. Some of you also know that you can root the left hip down and reach the left heel up and go into a lengthened place here, drawing a plumb line from your feet to your hips. Allowing that right leg and knee to release away from you. Yeah. And anytime that left foot wants to come back on the floor, you can invite in the ball underneath the buttocks of the right hip. So you want to be in the fleshy part of the buttocks, so not closer to the top of the hip, but more so the glute area. So the ball can pop under the glutes. You can even, if you feel that sometimes the external rotators are a little bit tight, then that's a little bit more to the outer hip. And you can even have it on the outside of the hip and then roll into it. So you can do a little rock and roll where you roll into the ball and then roll off of the ball. This is a really good time to come back to that breath in the nose, sighing out the mouth. Ah, just feeling a little bit deeper awareness through any holding in the hips today. Yes, we did some deeper strengthening in standing. So just want to make sure that we're leaving today with letting the hips have their space. I'm just going to create some quiet space for you as you continue to explore this side for another 1 minute. So we're feeling a completion coming in the next few breaths, depending on what resonates with you on this side. So you might feel that you just kind of are dropped into a space that really wants you to linger here for a little bit more. So don't let me rush you if you feel like you're not complete. But if you are, you're going to release the ball first before you release the leg and then check in, little wipering of the legs. You also have that slow-mo ball for some of you behind the neck. You do want to check in to make sure if that feels okay, because you can always take that out at any time. But if it does feel good, then you're going to allow that left leg to come up, externally rotate, and then putting the left ankle on the right thigh. Now you can be here just rocking a little bit from side to side. It's that left leg thigh that's releasing away from the torso to open the hip. You can keep your right foot on the floor. Some of you have that 4-inch block that you can pop your foot up onto the block and just stay there for a little bit deeper. Some of you like to push the ankle and the thigh into each other and hold the back of the thigh. Other option is to root the right hip and the right heel up, lengthening to the ceiling to find a straight leg, a nice plumb line through the body. And at any time, that ball can come under the right hip or the opposite side. Feel pursed lip breath, a sigh out the mouth. When you offer that breath of the pursed lip breath or the exhale at the mouth of the sigh, it signals to the body and the nervous system to release any tension, come back into the floor, feeling a sensitive spot there. Yeah, it's amazing sometimes when you have, even a little bit of surgery or, a little event that comes in, you can feel that the body just has different holding patterns. And we're just going to be here for another minute or so. Sometimes you just find that magic spot and you just want to pause there and let the holding come in. And we call that a compressional hold, where you're just allowing the compression to move into the body and you're breathing. And what that compression does is it signals these receptors in the muscle fibers to slowly start to allow them to unwind. And in the fascial terms, it's called like a melting away of tension. And as the nervous system flows through the fascia and the muscles, we always want to make sure that we're releasing any constriction in the body. So those areas that hold tension. Next week, we'll focus a little bit more on the shoulders and moving into some ball rolling in the neck as well. You just take your time, just the sense. Where do I need to finish off this release? If you're being guided, once you take out the ball and you release the leg, if the front of the chest is feeling really tight, you're more than welcome to take your ball in your right hand and massage below your collarbones all across the front of the chest. This is getting in not only to the superficial muscle of the pec major, but getting to this muscle underneath, which is called our pec minor. And it helps to soften the shoulder blade down the back of the rib cage. So when we're holding a lot of tension, this area of the chest can get a little bit more tight and held. So we're just going to roll underneath the collarbone down through the two pec muscles. Just to let any pull release so we end in an open heart position. And you can pause after you roll one side just to notice how that feels. And then take the ball in the other hand and roll across the other side of the chest. And going under the collarbone, just below, through the sternum, or just towards it. You choose. It's going to make a difference on how you feel in your neck. Once the shoulder blade starts to rest a little bit more on the rib cage in its descended place, then the pull on the neck and the throat lessens. And then we have more ease and fluidity that's flowing through. Just take that time to finish off the side, just identifying where you want to finish the rolling. You're just going to hear me walking through the studio for a moment. I'm just going to walk back to my mat. And then we're just going to take a moment to pause. So we just complete our practice. So when it resonates with you, check in, notice if there's any last few movements, and see, does the bolster want to come back in underneath the knees or the back of the thighs again? Other option that's being called in is you can do this with the bolster. You can also do this with the block. And we're just going to be resting for about 2 to 3 minutes here. Is as you're on your back, you do want to take the slow-mo ball out if you're going to do this variation, and you can put the block or the bolster underneath the pelvis. And sometimes just being here feels really good, just to feel that openness of space, or drawing the legs one and both up towards you, and then elevating the legs in the air and arms out to the side. So it's a very therapeutic shoulder stance. Sometimes I like to just call it waterfall. You just feel that exhalation either pursing through the lips as we exhale out the mouth. And just let yourself settle here as we feel the evolution of the practice come in. You okay? Okay. I just want to make sure. Just gonna walk back to my mat. So just notice if the legs don't feel comfortable being in the air the whole time. They don't have to, they can just be there for part of it. Then you can come down, put your feet on the floor. You can pull the bolster out and just let the pelvis come down onto the mat. So there's no place that we need to stay in. So always want to make sure that this is resonating for you. And I always love to end the practice with a piece of poetry. And this one's by Rumi. And when I share the recording link with you from this class that you can practice with again, I'll also share the poem underneath the recording link. I'll read this one twice. Try not to resist the changes that come your way. Instead, let life live through you. And do not worry that your life is turning upside down. How do you know that the side that you're used to is better than the one to come? Try not to resist the changes that come your way. Instead, let life live through you. And do not worry that your life is turning upside down. How do you know that the side you're used to is better than the one to come? We'll be here for another minute or so. And just let your breath breathe through your body. And let yourself rest here fully for the next minute. Thank yourself for showing up for practice today, for creating a space for yourself to find ease and nourishment, and to also notice these points of vitality and empowerment that we brought in as we celebrate our internal strength in this balanced, easeful state. As you feel your body resting on the mat, take some breath a little bit deeper, maybe in the nose and out the mouth, or just in and out of the nose to arrive here a little bit more to body. Allow my voice to guide you back as maybe you bring some wiggling through toes and feet just to feel that earth support. Movement through legs, pelvis, removing any bolster when it feels ready for you off to the side. You might feel wiggling through toes with fingers and arms. Maybe a full body stretch if you want. And when it feels right, you'll roll over onto one side, maybe taking a moment or a beat or two or three there. And then we're going to come and join up into a seated. So either sitting cross-legged or straight leg, whatever you feel. If you want a little bit of height to sit on, feel free. And the eyes can soften and stay lowered or closed. And we're just going to have our arms out beside our hips with the palms forward. And we're going to exhale when you feel ready out the mouth and a sigh. Oh. Then we're going to inhale, bringing the arms up close to the height of the shoulders, maybe even a little bit back. And then we're going to exhale and just end with giving ourselves a hug. So whenever we take a moment just to feel a compassionate gesture towards ourselves, the research shows that it helps to bring an equilibrium to body and mind. It also releases oxytocin, which is our feel-good hormone. You can really enjoy this moment with ourselves as we take note which arm is on top. And then we're going to open the arms out and back, and then give ourselves a hug again. A moment to receive it. We join together in community. We help to support one another as we inhale the arms out to the side and then sweep them up. And then just exhale to heart with the hands, thumbs resting at heart center. We feel this space where we can all come together. Take a few more breaths just to end our class and let the eyes start to open, the head and the gaze lift. Take a deep breath in and let it out. Oh, another one. Deep breath in, let it out. And if that felt good, one last time. Mm. Thank you for sharing yourself in the space together. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Mm. So take your time to linger as long as you want to on your mat. No rush here. Ah.